Righto, welcome to Captain Dorja's Armory. This is Captain Dorja. Today we're going to be taking out the Type 59 for a spin. My first two videos I put up were a little braggadocious with some pretty lucky bounces on my SU-100 M1 and some epic kill stealing and more pretty lucky bounces in my ACMLE 1946. So this time we're going to take a little bit of a different route. This is going to be a Type 59 match. This is one of those matches that starts off really awesome and ends not so cool at all. Yeah. For those of you who don't know about the Type 59, Tier 8 premium medium tank, it got taken out of the store because it was so popular. It has a really good, really well-armored turret. The front armor on it, on the hull, is pretty good. It's been nerfed a lot, so you used to be able to reliably bounce things with 175 millimeters of penetration. Not anymore. They usually just go straight through. Not without its weaknesses. It's a fast medium tank, but its horsepower is really low, so it accelerates really slow. It doesn't turn that well. Well, it turns pretty well, but you bleed off a lot of your speed really easily, and it's basically made out of ammo racks, so if you're not driving with a wet ammo rack and safe stowage on your loader, you will get blown up a lot. So we're going to take this thing out today on Lakeville match, and you'll see, starts out pretty cool, goes south in a real hurry, right. So let's get on to the blowing up. Well, here we are, loading up the match. We're Lakeville, Tier 9 match, one Tier 9 per side. We've got an ST1, the enemy has an E75, then we have a slew of Tier 8s with a few Tier 7s rounding out the team on each side. Now, at this point I'm thinking that I'm going to go town. I pretty much always go town on Lakeville. I think the valley is a death trap. Usually I either call it Death Valley or Retard Valley. Now right here you can see our ST1 asking about who's going to cover the middle. And he's not happy because nobody's volunteering, so he does it. That's going to be really important to the way this match plays out. So here we go, just taking a look at our deployment. We've got most of our Tier 7s plus our Ferdinands are covering the valley, and just about everybody else is going city. Watching the ST1 go out onto the middle right now, and personally I think it would have been better if maybe one of our Lurvas or a Ferdinand or two, or perhaps our Tigers had covered that middle. Usually there's not much of an attack over it, so some of your lower end guys can usually cover it just fine. But nobody's volunteering, so the ST1 goes to do it. Personally, if I was that ST1, I would have gone into the city anyway and had somebody else cover the middle, because in a match like this with just that E75 there, we really need that ST1 and his armor and his M62 gun in town to counter that E75. We don't have anything on our team that can go head to head with that E75, and that's going to cost us. So, alright, well, here we go. We're driving into the city. Haven't encountered much opposition yet, just a couple of lights and a Type 59. So I roll up, looking to take some flank shots on a Type 59, because who doesn't like to do that? And I'm hoping I can get his track off here and then keep functioning. But good hit on him though, and then I pull back and I realize that we're just bum rushing this guy. So I go into hard charger mode and I start running this guy down. Take kind of a risky shot here. Could have hit the 250, didn't. And he's dead. Now I see that AMX 5100 over there. Those things are incredibly vulnerable during their reload. And this guy's behavior leads me to believe that he is reloading. So I'm hell-bent on killing him now, even if I have the units in that MLE 1946. And so there you go. Go route around the MLE, and 51 dead. Those things are really dangerous when they've got a full clip and they have a 58-second reload. So assassinated while they're reloading. We nailed it back. And there we go. The MLE's dead. Now I did take a hit from him. I've lost about 300 health. And this is where things start to go bad. We've ran into their E75, and I go to track him, and boom! 308 damage to the T50. Awesome. That was my most damaging hit to a friendly. Right, so I'm in a fast medium. Let's flank this C-75. Alright, well, he's got some flank cover. Alright, no problem. IS-2, I can handle an IS-2. Let's do this. I got an IS-6 backing me up, no problem. I'll just drive up to this next house over here, and then I'll be around the guy's flank. And bang.
They're hit.
T-28 prototype.
The gunner's
dead.
Turret, and we're trying
bang,
to cover for him.
And right through my front plate. Alright, I'm screwed. I am basically almost dead. Now, before some of its armor nerfs, Type 59 in this situation, I probably could have just tanked up against this IS-2 and
We nailed it back.
because that gun only has 175
Bail out.
penetration.
This vehicle has
But,
had it.
as you can see right there, that is no longer possible. You cannot bounce those shots very often anymore. You still can, but it's a lot less common. And he definitely didn't bounce that time, so I'm dead. Right, well, live fast, die young, all that. It was a glorious charge. There you go, our ST-1 is still putting in some really, really effective flanking fire right now, while our team is still up and attacking. And this is where things start to go really, really wrong. IS-6 takes a big hit from that Ferdinand. He's not looking forward to going out in front of an E-75 right now, and really, who can blame him? 204 hit points left. But the E-75 just has 44 health left. A good side shot, even with AG, and this guy's done. IS-6 shoots, bounces off the guy's turret, takes cover, reloads. E-75's working on that Type 59, and the Type 59 is all kinds of exposed to their flank fire right now too, so his days are numbered. Now, this is the IS-6's big chance, and
We're immobilized.
boom! Hits the side of the turret, bounces. And he reloads. He's got another shot. And bam! Blows his tracks off. So, at that point, in chat, I tell the guy to just load high explosive ammo and shoot the dude in the side. Right here, our IS-6 drives around behind the E-75 to shoot him in the back. Good move. When he drives too far, he shoots the guy in the side at an auto bounce angle, and what do you know? It bounces. So yeah, IS-6 dead. I'm a little rude to the guy in chat right there, telling him that he failed, but, well, he did. He failed pretty hard, too. And at this point, it's basically match over for us. We've lost the valley, we've lost the city. The only place we hold is the middle. And we're not getting anything out of holding the middle. Not anymore. Now that our attacks failed, holding the middle is basically like... It's like trying to fill a hole in the snow with water. It ain't gonna work. So, alright, I'm trying to get our ST-1 to go back to base right now, and he decides he's going to do it. Usually no one ever listens to anyone in chat. Half the advice he gives is terrible anyway. So we've got a Ferdinand at our base, fighting a Super Pershing and a T-34. I'm not sure what's going on right here. My replay's bugged out, because you should be able to see them both right now, but for some reason neither one's lit up. And you'll see the Ferdinand shooting at the Super Pershing, but you won't see the Super Pershing. There, Ferdinand's taking hits from a Super Pershing like 100 meters away, and you can't even see him. Right, now our ST-1 is coming back. But while he's coming back, he gives those tank destroyers his rear, and he gets punished for it. Pretty heavily, in fact. He loses 1,200 health. And a lot of the reason why he loses that health is he sticks around to finish off this E-75. So, I don't know if that was the wisest decision. Sacrificing 1,400 or 1,200 of your own hit points in a match where you're down and need to survive. And all he gained from sacrificing that was a kill on a 44 hit point E-75. So, you be the judge. Here comes the ST-1 back to base. You can see the holes in his rear armor and side armor from the Ferdinand, and probably I'm not sure what was shooting him. Maybe the AT-15, I don't know. But here he comes into the base to help the Ferdinand, and this guy's armored like Fort Knox. If he gets himself into a covered position, he'll be miserable to get out. His turret is essentially impregnable. His hull armor's really good, but it's not that good. Because, bam. got the Ferdinand telling him to take cover, but he doesn't listen. And so the Ferdinand drives out and puts the kibosh onto the T-34. And the T-34 ain't dead. He's shooting back. And the T-34's gun is more than enough of a match for the Ferdinand's front gun. But still, they trade blows and the Ferdinand kills him. Now, at this point, this is where I tell the ST-1 that he shouldn't have been in the middle, and he doesn't like that response. He basically tells me to go to hell. But our Ferdinand's alone. He's defending against 3 other people, and they're coming for him. Pretty soon, the Ferdinand starts turning around, and there goes a tree. The enemy's in the base. Right, Ferdinand needs to turn around right now. And at any minute, there he is. He's seen him. He's turning around. ISU 152. Right, that's that. Bam. Ferdinand dead. Match over. You can see the ST-1's reply. Really, I should have been covering the middle. So yeah, he wasn't happy about that, and that was the end of that match. Well, there you go. That was the Type 59 in a pretty frustrating match on Lakeville. It started out pretty fun when we were doing the run and gun on the enemy 59 and the 5100 in the town. That was pretty cool. The moment we ran into that E75, though, everything just fell apart. The enemy team, they set up a really nice one for us. That E75 in the city right there was always going to be a real challenge to root him out. And with that IS-2 in close protecting his flank and those 2 tank destroyers back behind them covering him, he was, as you saw, just about invulnerable. He almost died, but we just weren't able to kill him. And you may have saw in the chat that I was telling the IS-6 to load an HE round and shoot him in the side. The E75 is still really heavily armored, and there have been a lot of HE nerfs, so this is not as sure of a tactic as it used to be. But you saw that IS-6 fire close range into the side of that E75, and all he managed to do was take off his track. Now, in a lot of cases, when you get an enemy on real low health like that, and you have a powerful enough gun, like just about any heavy tank, they have powerful enough guns for this to work. If you get a guy below about 50 health, put an HE round in and shoot him, and especially if you can hit him in some of their thinner armor, it's almost guaranteed to kill him. Now, in fairness, an AP round in the side is almost guaranteed to kill him, but you saw right there, it just took his track. And then the IS-6 drove in to shoot him in the back, and actually ended up shooting the E75 in the side on an angle like this, which is an auto bounce. So E75 survived, IS-6 died. And that was the first frustrating part of the match. But that was really more down to the enemy team playing very well. That was really well set up. If there'd been artillery present, our artillery could have put the hurt into their tank destroyers, but there was no artillery, so those tank destroyers had free reign to just sit where they were and destroy us, and that is exactly what happened. The other frustrating part was our ST-1 in the middle. I gotta give credit where credit is due. Nobody covered the middle. So yeah, the ST-1, you could tell from the chat, he didn't want to cover the middle. He asked right away who was going to cover it. Nobody volunteered. He was upset in the chat. He went into the middle. And at the end of the match, when I told him he should have got off the middle sooner, he told me basically to go to hell. So he obviously didn't want to go there either, but he was doing his duty. So he went out there, and during our attack, his presence there was actually pretty valuable. He was putting down a lot of good flank fire into their defense. But the moment our attack failed, he needed to get off the middle, because his position there was just exposing more of him as a target. The ST-1 is really heavily armored, but it is vulnerable to large enemy vehicles firing from the side and rear. And when that guy was withdrawing, he gave his back to the enemy, and they did 1,200 damage to him. Now, when he was out there after our attack had failed, what that meant was he was supporting an attack that no longer existed, and not helping at all with the defense that needed help. Now, lucky for us, it turned out our Ferdinand player was pretty good. He handled himself really well on the defense. He didn't actually need the ST1's help, and so he managed to hold our base by himself. But if the ST1 had just left the middle, and driven back earlier, we would have had a full health Ferdinand and a close to full health ST1. The T-34 and the Super Pershing would have had even less chance of success. The Ferdinand probably would have survived the encounter with a lot more hit points. The ST1 probably would have survived the encounter with a lot more hit points. And then they could have entrenched in our base. And an entrenched ST1 and a Ferdinand together, that is not easy to root out. And with only 3 vehicles to do it, that would be tough. Now, especially with the ISE 152 there. Now, that guy does a ton of damage, but the moment he pokes his head out, he's dead. So it could have been a real game changer. So that game was pretty frustrating for me. I didn't really play that well in it. When I went to attack the E75, I didn't notice the tank destroyers covering until they both shot me in the face. And at that point, I had 200 health left, and that's really not enough in that situation. And the IS-2 just blew me away. So not my finest hour, not our team's finest hour. That was, a frustrating match, but it was well fought, well played to everybody. So it was still a pretty good game. I wish I hadn't got the giant fine out of it, but whatever. It is what it is. Well, that's all for now. This is Captain Dorja with Captain Dorja's Armory. And just remember, you can never have enough big guns.